Half a day, lesson mamai, Faisho, good morning, and welcome to your house chamber. To all of you viewing on the different social media platforms, on cable, to all of you in the gallery and in the lobby, welcome to today's session. I now call the first day, fourth regular session to order. Please let us all rise for a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone. I now recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Vada,
Present.
Representative Aldan, Representative Aquino,
Mr. Speaker, there's no audio on your side. Can you have the active turn on the audio, please?
Okay, quick recess, quick recess. We should be good? Okay. Test.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. We'll rise back to session. We apologize for that. Before going on recess, we were under roll call. Clerk?
Representative Vada,
Present.
Representative Aldan, Representative Aquino,
Present.
Representative Atal,
Present.
Representative Benavente,
Here.
Representative Angelo Komatsu, Representative Diego Komatsu,
Present.
Representative Joel Komatsu, Representative Joseph Flores,
Present.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Present.
Representative Manglonia,
Present.
Representative Ogo,
Present.
Representative Omar,
Gagi.
Representative Palacios,
Gaya.
Representative Rangamar,
Present.
Representative Sablan,
Instagram.
Representative Nicolas,
Present.
Mr. Speaker,
Present.
Representative Yang Tamay, Representative Yumo.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, all 20 members are present.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 20 members present, we have a quorum for today's session. And before we move to item number 2, public comments, I'd like to recognize the floor leader to amend today's agenda. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to suspend Rule 3, Section 6, so that the House amends its agenda to include unnumbered bills and resolutions and communications not filed with the House Clerk's office 72 hours in advance when a notice for session was given. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to amend today's agenda and has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vada,
Yes.
Representative Aldan, Representative Aquino,
Yes.
Representative Atal,
Yes.
Representative Benavente,
Good.
Representative Angelo Komatsu, Representative Diego Komatsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu, Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Ogo,
Yes.
Representative Omar, Representative Palacios,
Good.
Representative Rangamar, Representative Sablan,
Good.
Representative Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Yang Tamay,
HoR.
Representative Yumo.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 20 members voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 20 members voting in favor, the motion carries. We now proceed to item number 2, public comments. And the podium is open. You'll be given 5 minutes. Please state your name and the entity you represent. Try to keep your comments related to the items on today's agenda. The podium is open.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. My name is Matthew Solis, representative of the 20th CNMI Youth Congress, and I'm here to respectfully ask for your consideration and support of Miscellaneous Communications 24-118 and Miscellaneous Communications 24-119, which transmits 2 Youth Congress bills that I believe are important to the young people of our Commonwealth. The first, Miscellaneous Communications 24-118, Youth Congress Bill number 20-2, is a bill that I introduced to reduce the access and possessions of vaporizers and vaporizable products among school-aged children in the CNMI. The bill was passed by the Youth Congress on August 5th, 2026. I introduced this bill because I believe we need to take concerns surrounding vaping among young people seriously. The bill requires vaporizers and vaporizable products at our retail establishments to be kept in secured areas rather than being available for self-service, with a store clerk assisting with access and purchase. It will also provide the public school system with the authority to confiscate such products when they are unlawfully possessed on school property. As a young person myself, I believe this is an issue that should not be ignored. Young people are still learning and growing, and I believe our community has a responsibility to create an environment that encourages healthy choices and protects students from things that can negatively affect them. The second measure, Miscellaneous Communications 24-119, Youth Congress Bill number 20-3, focuses on student mental health awareness. This bill requires secondary schools in the CDMI to include information about local mental health and crisis support resources on newly issued student identification cards. I believe this is a simple idea that can make a meaningful difference. Students carry their identification cards every day, and having information about where to find help can make those resources easier to telephone number or another contact method for at least one locally available mental health counseling or crisis support service in the CDMI. The bill also makes clear that the students will not be required to disclose personal information or participate in mental health program simply because the information is placed on their identification cards. Although these two bills address different issues, I believe both reflect something important about the Youth Congress. Young people are paying attention to what is happening in our schools and communities, and we want to be a part of finding those solutions. We are often told that the young people are the future of the CDMI. I believe that is true, but I also believe that the young people should have an opportunity to speak about the issues affecting us today. We may not have all the answers, but we can identify problems that we see around us and work together with our leaders to find ways to address them. I understand that the House of Representatives has a responsibility to carefully review these measures and consider their potential effects before taking any action. I respect the process and the responsibility that each member has to the people of the Commonwealth. With that in mind, I respectfully ask the members of the House of Representatives to please give Miscellaneous Communications 24-108 and Miscellaneous Communications 24-119 serious consideration and support of the goals of the Youth Congress. I am proud that the Youth Congress has the opportunity to bring issues like these forward, and I hope that our work can contribute to positive changes for the students and young people throughout the CNMI. Thank you for taking the time to consider my request and for your continued service to our Commonwealth. I sincerely appreciate your willingness to listen to the concerns and ideas of the young people of the CNMI. Thank you, and Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Salas. The podium's still open.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and this august body. My name is Jocelyn De Leon Guerrero. I serve as president of the Board of Directors of the Commonwealth Cancer Association. We are here to express our enthusiastic support for House Bill 24-81, the Nonprofit Organization Tax Credit Act of 2025. As an organization providing essential services to cancer patients and families across Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, we strongly urge the legislature to pass this vital legislation without delay. The tax credit framework is a proven model in the CNMI that has historically strengthened our schools, Northern Marianas College, sports associations, and legal services. However, vital community healthcare organizations like the Commonwealth Cancer Association, which hold active 501c3 status and maintain strict compliance, have not previously had access to these tax credit incentives. While we continuously hope to find stronger financial partnerships with local government to support healthcare access, the Commonwealth Cancer Association currently relies almost entirely on corporate sponsorships, private donations, and community fundraising to sustain our operations. The demand for our services is critical, 64% of our clients are Medicaid recipients or are uninsured. These individuals depend on CCA during some of the most vulnerable and challenging moments of their lives. In a small island community, relying solely on direct fundraising can place a heavy strain on local businesses and individuals who face financial challenges of their own. House Bill 2481 addresses this by offering a 50% tax credit for qualifying contributions, lowering the net cost of giving our local taxpayers while relieving pressure on local legislative delegations to appropriate scarce public funds among competing nonprofit needs. Furthermore, House Bill 2481 establishes a transparent framework requiring tax-exempt 501c3 status, active Department of Commerce charters, and detailed reporting. This ensures that tax incentives directly benefit legitimate CNMI nonprofits that deliver measurable impacts to our residents. Passing House Bill 24-81 will bridge critical funding gaps for organizations like CCA, empowering the community to directly support health and human services. Thank you for seeking public comments on this important legislation, and we urge your committee and the full House body to support its passage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The podium is still open.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker and members of the House. Excuse me. I am Richard Villagomez, temporary acting executive director for the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority, CEDA. We are here to provide testimony regarding item 7 on the agenda, Senate Communication 24-121, returning House Bill number 24-107 HD1 SD1. CEDA respectfully submits this testimony regarding House Bill 24-107 HD1 SD1. CEDA fundamentally supports the overall purpose of this legislation and recognizes the extraordinary circumstances confronting the Commonwealth following super typhoons Sinlaku and Bavi. Reliable power, water, and wastewater services are essential to public health, public safety, economic activity, and community recovery. CEDA supports efforts to ensure that CUC has the tools necessary to restore and stabilize critical infrastructure. I'm sorry, before I go on, I believe the Sergeant at Arms, Tawai, had distributed copies of our written testimony, so I'm just summarizing this. However, CEDA respectfully opposes the portions of the bill that appropriates or otherwise dedicates 100% of the dividends paid by CUC to CEDA for a 15-year period and makes such funds available as collateral for CUC financing. Specifically, CEDA is concerned with the provisions contained in proposed subsection 82116 that would appropriate all dividends collected by CEDA from CUC. Several reasons for that. The first one, economic development is not a secondary priority. The Commonwealth's economic recovery remains fragile. Over the last several years, policymakers, including yourselves, business leaders, and economic planning efforts have consistently emphasized the need to diversify the economy beyond traditional tourism and attract new industries, new investments, and new sources of employment. Recognizing this need, Public Law 22-01 established CEDA as the Commonwealth's primary economic development agency and tasked it with actively promoting the Marianas USA as a destination for investments, supporting business expansion, recruiting new industries, increasing exports, and conducting investor outreach domestically and internationally. These responsibilities are not optional. They are statutory mandates and are absolutely critical for the CNMI to achieve its economic goals. Yet Public Law 22-01 provided no dedicated funding source to fully carry out these expanded duties. As we've previously discussed, the agency was assigned a substantial new responsibilities without a corresponding permanent funding mechanism. The dividend funds represent one of the few realistic and sustainable sources available to support these economic development responsibilities. As contemplated in Senate Bill 24-52, these funds are critical to carrying out the mandates assigned to CEDA under law. Another reason competition for investment is fierce. Economic development today is highly competitive. Investors have choices, manufacturers have choices, technology companies have choices. Every jurisdiction is actively competing for projects, jobs, and capital investment. Recently, while participating in a Select USA engagement activity in Asia, CEDA met economic development representatives from 3 counties in Texas, 2 counties in Arizona, 2 cities in California, representatives from Vermont, the state of Arkansas, Virginia, and Kentucky. These organizations were not passively waiting for investors to arrive. They were aggressively marketing their jurisdictions, attending international trade missions, building relationships with site selectors, meeting manufacturers, and competing for investment opportunities. Several of them even have permanent satellite offices in Asian countries or have contracted with professional economic development firms to bolster their efforts. That is the reality that CNMI is facing. If large states, regions, and counties with significantly greater resources are constantly pursuing investors, then we cannot afford to withdraw from the competition. Economic development is not a one-time activity. It requires a sustained and continuous presence in domestic and international markets, and it requires attending trade missions, investor meetings, marketing campaigns, business recruitment, and ongoing engagement with prospective investors. Without access to dividend funds, the CNMI's ability to compete effectively for investment opportunities will be significantly diminished. Another reason, the CNMI is beginning to see results. The legislature should also consider the progress already being made. CEDA's targeted economic development efforts have generated significant investor interest in the Commonwealth and have created opportunities for new industries that did not previously exist in the CNMI. CEDA has reported substantial interest from investors throughout the Asia-Pacific region and the United States and has been actively pursuing opportunities capable of creating hundreds of jobs while diversifying our economy beyond tourism. More recently, CNMI Investment LLC proposes an investment of approximately $77.7 million involving investments, manufacturing and pharmaceuticals, and trading activities, with estimated annual economic impacts reaching millions of dollars annually and the creation of new jobs for our residents. I note that CEDA's engagement with CNMI Investment LLC is the direct result of CEDA's efforts at a Select USA investment conference in Maryland. But these opportunities do not materialize on their own. They are the result of deliberate outreach, relationship building, investor cultivation, and continued engagement. Economic development is a long-term process. Projects under consideration today may take years to reach implementation. Eliminating CEDA's practical access to dividend funds during this critical period risks interrupting the very momentum the CNMI, including this legislature, has worked so hard to build. Furthermore, the Commonwealth should not be placed in a position where it solves one economic problem while weakening its primary institution responsible for creating future economic growth. Also, economic development and utility recovery are actually complementary goals. CEDA respectfully submits that economic development and utility recovery should not be viewed as competing priorities. A stronger economy helps CUC. New businesses increase utility demand. New industries increase utility revenues. Population growth increases utility customers. Private investments expands the tax base and strengthens the CNMI's overall fiscal condition. The very economic development activities funded through CEDA ultimately contribute to the long-term financial sustainability of public utilities, government revenues, and workforce opportunities. For this reason, preserving a dedicated funding source for economic development should be viewed as part of CNMI's recovery strategy, not separate from it. Our recommendation CEDA respectfully requests that the legislature amend House Bill 24107 HD1 SD1 by removing or substantially revising the provisions that appropriate or otherwise dedicate 100% of the dividends paid by CUC to CEDA under proposed subsection 82116. CEDA stands ready to work collaboratively with the legislature, CUC, and the administration to support utility restoration while preserving the Commonwealth's ability to recruit investment, diversify its economy, and create jobs and sustain long-term economic growth. The CNMI has begun building meaningful momentum towards economic recovery and diversification, and this is precisely the time to strengthen, not weaken, the Commonwealth's economic development capacity. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this testimony, Mr. Speaker and honorable House members.
Thank you, Acting Director. The podium is still open.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and members of the House. My name is Robert Torres, and I appear before you to register my support and ask for your passage of House Bill 24-81 regarding the tax credit for nonprofits. Ask yourselves, where is your passion and your purpose? Oftentimes it may be directed at our local utilities, but where is your real passion and your purpose, members? In a community such as the CNMI, that passion and purpose is where you exert your contributions in labor and money for worthwhile organizations. The educational tax credit helps our schools. The Access to Justice Act has helped the Marianas Legal Services, Micronesian Legal Services. This bill expands that opportunity for the taxpayer, each taxpayer, to put and direct their taxpayer money to where their passion and their purpose is and are. And that allows every taxpayer to direct up to $2,500 individually and $5,000, as you know, to programs that are worthwhile, which must be 501c3 Internal Revenue Code entities. And the profits of nonprofits is simply the return on our investment in these organizations. You have the Commonwealth Cancer Association. You have the Northern Marianas Swimming Federation with our contributions to them, Little League, the mock trial program, the Humane Society, and we can go on about all the nonprofit organizations that would benefit, and I would dare to say that each one of you support them without question. So this bill was introduced in 2025, obviously, because it's named 2025. But like all things, that good things come to those who wait. It's time to get this bill out of the House and move it up to the colleagues in the Senate to also see the wisdom of the legislation. The important reason is that simply it's a good bill that does not divert taxpayer money away from the government's fisc for policies and programs. How do we know this? We know, for example, in the Northern Islands delegation, every quarter when the funds are available, that you have nonprofits soliciting for your support. That's fine. But when they do, after the passage of this bill becomes law, you have an opportunity to ask them, where has your advocacy taken you in terms of being able to use the tax credit program and the incentives to have taxpayers support you? This empowers the nonprofits to grow themselves through the taxpayers. And then it allows the legislature to use the other taxpayer money for more appropriate, noteworthy programs that you determine appropriate. So for all these reasons, as you know, the bill is well-intentioned. It serves the purpose of what is in the best interest of our community with supporting nonprofits. It's time to move it forward, and it's time to get the Senate to pass it, and like all things, it's time to be signed into law and will benefit our Commonwealth citizens and our nonprofits. And for those reasons, thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. The podium is still open. All right, with nothing further under public comments, we'll now proceed to item number 3, adoption of journals. We have none. Item number 4, introduction of bills. Any unnumbered bills to be introduced today? Ready? All right, we'll move down to House local bills, and I recognize Representative Patrick San Nicolas.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is to just warmly introduce House Local Bill number 24-1 to appropriate 42,000 from revenues collected from poker fees in the second senatorial district, pre-filed by myself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas. Any unnumbered House local bills to be introduced? Recognize Representative Ralph Yumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now introducing House unnumbered House Local Bill, which is to appropriate 500,000 from revenues collected for the 3rd Senatorial District pursuant to Public Law 20-59 and for other purposes offered by myself and Rep. Attal, and I'm open to co-sponsors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Yumo. Any further under House local bills, unnumbered? All right, with nothing further, we now proceed down to item number 5, introduction of resolutions, and I recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially offering House Resolution number 24-29, commending and honoring Ms. Gloria Warswick Hunter for her historic 2 decades of cabinet leadership as Special Assistant on Programs and Legislative Review, her lifelong devotion to public services, and her enduring legacy as a cultural matriarch of the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Islands, pre-filed by myself. And if there's no objection, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to offer this House resolution as a committee as a whole. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan, and with no objection, House Resolution 24-29 is now hereby introduced by the committee as a whole. We'll now move to the next resolution, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, formally introducing House Joint Resolution number 24-17 to affirm the Commonwealth's interest in submerged lands and offshore mineral resources, and to respectfully urge Congress to enact legislation conveying ownership, recognizing Commonwealth rights, and establishing a federal framework governing offshore mineral development adjacent to the Commonwealth, pre-filed by myself, and if there's no objection, I'd like to have and offer this as a committee as a whole.
Thank you, floor leader, and with no objection, House Joint Resolution 24-17 is now hereby introduced by the committee of the whole, and will be placed on calendar for action today, along with House Resolution 24-29. Next item on the agenda, House Concurrent Resolution. I'd like to recognize Representative John Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Concurrent Resolution number 24-4 to approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified under Article 3, Section 9A of the Constitution as amended, and Title I, Division 7 of the Commonwealth Code for fiscal year 2027 beginning October 1st, 2026 and ending on September 30, 2027, pre-filed by myself and Representative Joseph Flores, and welcome any other co-sponsors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And if there's no objection, I would like to offer this as a committee as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you to our honorable chairman from the beautiful precinct of Precinct 2. House Concurrent Resolution with no objection, 24-4 is now hereby introduced by the committee of the whole. All right, thank you, colleagues. We now proceed down to messages from the governor, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 6, messages from the governor, we have Governor's Communication 24-168 through 24-174.
Thank you. Clerk, any discussions under messages from the governor? Okay, recognize Representative Julie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is in regards to the Governor's Communication number 24-173. Mr. Speaker and members, I understand the intent behind Executive Order 2026-014 to transfer the Commonwealth Councils for Arts and Cultures, CCAC, to the Marianas Visitors Authority, MVA. Culture and tourism naturally complement one another, and I recognize the potential benefits of stronger collaboration. However, there is one important matter that deserves clarification. The executive order tells us where the Arts Council will be placed, but it does not clearly explain what happens to the funds entrusted to the council and how those funds will be legally transitioned. CCAC serves as our state arts agency and administers federal grants and other funds that may carry specific requirements, restrictions, and reporting responsibilities. The executive order itself recognizes this by directing coordination with the Office of Grants Management, OGM, and federal grantors regarding the outstanding federal grants. Before the transfer is completed, we should have a clear accounting of existing grant balances, pending artist payments, local and federal funds, and outstanding obligations, and determine who will legally administer those funds going forward. This is not about opposing the transfer, it is about protecting it. We should make sure that no artist payment is delayed, no federal fund is jeopardized, and no agency assumes financial responsibilities without clear legal authority. The executive order itself requires that this transition be implemented consistent with applicable law. I simply ask that we address these financial and legal safeguards before the transfer takes effect. We can strengthen the partnership between culture and tourism while protecting the integrity, independence, and funding of our Arts Council. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to request to leave this communication, Governor's Communication number 24-173, on the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Julie. And any further under discussion? Ready? Okay. At the request of Representative Julie, we'll go ahead and leave Governor's Communication 24-173 on the agenda.
Mr.
With
Speaker,
no
point
yes.
of clarification.
Recognize.
Well, I do not object to leave Governor's Communication 24-173. We do have a legislative action deadline, which is October 10 of this year. So I'm just wondering, does the clock still move if it's still in the agenda, or should we just refer it to the committee and we can maybe just
Work on it there.
work on it there, or?
Leave it on the agenda.
Quick recess. All right. So the clock actually starts when we Before we went on recess, we were under messages from the governor. Any more discussions? Ready? All right. Under Governor's Communication 24-170. Recognize Representative Angelo. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, are we moving on to the next governor's communication, or are we still in the same
Oh,
topic?
well, we're still under Governor's Communications. Is there anything you'd like to add
Yeah.
before I proceed? Okay, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So with regards to Governor's Communication 24-170, I would just like to ask my colleagues for their consideration. I just got off the phone with the Commissioner, Torres, and he expressed the need of the upcoming academy. As we all know, that since he came on board, I mean, obviously he did a clean sweep within his facility, and including his staff, his personnel. And with our current economic situation, a lot of his staff, correctional officers, are actually looking for better opportunities, and a lot of them had resigned. And I think he mentioned that he may possibly go on an emergency due to short staffing. So I just wanted to ask for your consideration, and maybe perhaps we can see how we can look for funding to fund at least. He's asking for 20, but if we can give him at least half, that it'll definitely help his operations. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Angelo Camacho. Any further discussions? Representative Atta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a quick question to Chairman Angelo Camacho. The commissioner is requesting for 20, are we talking about cadets?
That is correct. I believe he has an upcoming academy that was scheduled for September. However, he pushed it for October, which is the next fiscal year.
And Mr. Speaker, just in regards to the cadets now and the program that the cycle that they're gonna run, those are externally paid for under WIA. If we were gonna do a joint resolution, I think it'd be specific to the parole program specialist, because that's an actual position within the Department of Corrections, but the cadets are not officers yet. So I think maybe something we can work with the commissioner, with the WIA office, because WIA usually pays for the cadets, and then they pay for 1 year worth of their employment until they transition into the budget. So this doesn't affect our budget at all for the current fiscal year or in the next fiscal year, at the very least for about 12 months. No? So maybe we can reach out, Chairman, to the commissioner, and we can have a meeting with him regarding the cadets, and channel our way through WIA so that WIA can pay for the training and that period. No, thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Atta. Thank you, Representative Angelo. You still have the floor. You're good.
Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Representative John Paul.
Yeah, thank you. And in the same communication, Mr. Speaker, I know that under our leadership meeting just earlier that you have recommended that you will refer this communication to your committee, on the Standing Committee on Ways and Means. And I tend to agree with Representative BJ Atto. Maybe under the existing budget, which is Public Law 24-20, under Section 602, I strongly believe that it only addresses the one parole program specialist because it's part of the budget, but I don't necessarily think that the 20 correction cadets are affected by Section 602 of Public Law 24-20. So I think there is a need that we meet with the commissioner and have this understanding, because perhaps maybe just that one position, the parole program specialist, is in need of the joint resolution by both the House and Senate under Section 602. And we have to be mindful that we only have a couple of days till the end of September for this one position. So I think it's important that we have this on an audience with the Commissioner of Correction. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Sablan. Any further? All right, with nothing further, under Governor's Communication 24-170, I will refer that to the Committee on Ways and Means. And Chairman, I know there are other requests that are in your committee. May I suggest that you tackle all those requests, including this, and with a committee report to explain that maybe it's just for that one position, no, para corrections.
Sure, duly noted.
Si Dus Masi. Under Governor's Communication 24-171, I'll refer that to Gaming Committee regarding Senate Local Bill 24-04, which was vetoed by the governor. All right, with nothing further, we move down to Senate Communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 7, Senate Communications, we have Senate Communication 24110, which was read on July 28, 2026. And we have got Senate Communications 120 through 124.
Thank you, clerk. I now recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move to accept Senate Communication, as the clerk stated, Senate Communication 24-110, read July 8, 2026, and Senate Communications 24-120 through 124, and that it be deemed property of the House for further disposition as appropriate. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader to accept Senate Communication so that they become the property of the House. And it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. Under Senate Communication 24-110, we'll continue to leave that on the agenda. Under Senate Communication 24-121, it will be placed on today's bill calendar for action. And Senate Communication 24-123, that will be referred to the committees on Federal and Foreign Affairs and Transportation and Infrastructure. Okay, with nothing further, we now move down to item number 8, House Communications. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 8, House Communications, we have just one item, House Communication 2497.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under House Communications? Ready? All right. I just want to thank our colleagues that went down to Palau to represent us on behalf of the House and the legislature to honor and commemorate the late Master Navigator, Cesario Cerulor, to extend our our condolences and also to honor his contributions to our culture and seafaring traditions. We now move down to item number 9, communications from the judicial branch. We have none. Item number 10, communications from the departments and agencies. We have none. Item number 11, miscellaneous communications. Clerk?
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 11, miscellaneous communications, we have miscellaneous communications 114 through 24114 to 24123.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under miscellaneous communications? Ready? All right. Under miscellaneous communication 24-118 and 24-119, both communications will be referred to the Committees on Health and Welfare and Education. Thank you, colleagues. We now proceed down to item number 12, reports of standing committees. We have none. Item number 13, reports of special and conference committees. We have none. Item number 14, unfinished business. We have none. Item number 15, resolution calendar. I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption on House Resolution 24-29, a House resolution commending and honoring Gloria Warswick Hunter for her historic 2 decades of cabinet leadership as a special assistant for programs and legislative review, her lifelong devotion to public service, and her endearing legacy as a cultural matriarch of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. So move.
Second.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of House Resolution 24-29, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready. All in favor for the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. House Resolution 24-29 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move to adopt House Joint Resolution Number 24-17, a House Joint Resolution to affirm the Commonwealth's interest in submerged lands and offshore mineral resources, and to respectfully urge Congress to enact legislation conveying ownership, recognizing Commonwealth rights, and establishing a federal framework governing offshore mineral development adjacent to the Commonwealth. So move.
Second.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader for the adoption of House Joint Resolution Number 24-17, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk? Oh, Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I know I didn't know if I wanted to save this for miscellaneous, but I think that in honor of us passing this as a committee as a whole, I think that we should say a little, send a message out to the public. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, for decades we've been called the tip of the spear, strategic, indispensable, a pawn moved whenever Washington's interest needs us to be, for defense, for trade, for labor policy, and now for what lies beneath our own ocean. We have lived this before, when international textile quotas were eliminated, our garment industry, once the backbone of our private economy, collapsed almost overnight. Then in 2008, Washington federalized our immigration and labor system, stripping away a core piece of our self-government without our consent. Both times, decision made thousands of miles away reshaped our islands, and our people paid the price in lost jobs, lost families, and lost futures. We were not asked, we were simply informed. Now, 69 million acres of seabed off our coast are being eyed for mineral leasing. 65,000 public comments were filed on it. And under the current law, every dollar of royalty goes straight to the U.S. Treasury, not 1 cent guaranteed to us. House Joint Resolution 24-17 says, not this time. This resolution is the will of the people, stated plainly and without apology, that we will no longer be consulted after the decision is already made. We will no longer be moved like a piece of someone else's chessboard. We are asking Congress to convey us ownership of our territorial sea and our exclusive economic zone, to require our concurrence before any lease takes effect, and to put every mineral dollar into permanent trust fund modeled on Alaska's, so that the wealth taken from our waters stays with our people for generations, not for one fiscal year and not for someone else's balance sheet. This is not a vote to drill, and we did not vote to drill. What we did vote is to make sure that if drilling ever comes, and if it comes with our consent, if it ever comes, it comes with our consent, our safeguards, and our fair share. We were the tip of the spear during the garment industry's collapse. We were the tip of the spear in 2008. We will not be the tip of the spear again while our ocean is signed away without us. The Northern Mariana Islands are not a pawn on anyone's chessboard. We are people, and this resolution is our will put into law. Thank you, colleagues, for your support, and we send a cohesive and supportive, collaborative message together that we would like to be involved in the discussions moving forward when it involves mineral rights and anything within our shores. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Any further discussions? Ready? Representative Atta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to thank our floor leader for introducing and taking the lead in this joint resolution, and to the members, to each and every member here that signed on through a committee of the whole. I think it's very important that the points that our floor leader brought up, that especially the year 2008. Prior to 2008, everything that talks about the waters beyond our shores here in the CNMI has always spoken about surrounding waters. Only in 2008 where they actually put a 3-mile limit to our ownership of our surrounding waters. So I think it's very important that we adopt this. At the very least, we know that the CNMI is going to be unified in a position that moving forward we want equality, and we shouldn't be asking for equality. We should be getting equality, and and decisions made far away from us really hurts our ability to grow. 2008 was a very significant year for the CNMI as they took away our immigration, and now they're trying. In the same year, they limited our ownership of our surrounding waters to only 3 miles. So I think that at the very least that we are seated at the table and are treated fairly, each and every one of us, most especially those after us, because they will be either reaping the benefits or suffering the consequences of the decisions that are being made over 8,000 miles away from us. So again, we thank the floor leader for taking the lead and every single member here for supporting this joint resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Atal. Representative Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to piggyback off what Chairman Atal said, to thank the floor leader. I wasn't too I'd had to do research on this thing. Found out that American Samoa too didn't benefit anything in terms of monies or anything period out of this thing. And when it came down to the CNMI side, it says it may, again, may. And that's the same thing that was the same language that they use in American Samoa. What I've seen so far, and I was discussing this with one of the colonels, was that there was a person who's running now, a candidate in Precinct 4, Kennedy Benjamin, who was the point of contact or the go-to guy for military or like the ESGR and people to get information on. And his position was canceled out when the Trump administration came on board. The person that they have down there now is, I think, Emery. He's from Guam. And then the disaster, FEMA was in charge. What they did was they contracted companies from Hawaii who subcontracted companies in Guam. And I specifically heard the governor tell the FEMA reps, we need to hire our local people. But did that happen? No. They hired people from Guam to come down here. And I think it's high time, that I also noticed through the many sessions, I've heard the floor leader express her disappointment towards the federal government. And I tend to also agree with her, or not tend, I fully agree with her, that, we're being stepped on. Many, many years, when I was going to Mount Carmel here, my dad, or people say, nah, boy, you don't speak Chamorro? I would say, my dad never wanted us to really learn Chamorro, not because he didn't like the Chamorro people, but he would always say, boy, you need to understand English. And I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings here. This is just what he told me. He says, "Saben sendakun y Americano." That's what he told me. You need to be very proficient in the English language. You need to know exactly what they say and what other terms it could mean, because the language that they use can be very tricky. And he kept emphasizing that. And you know what? I believe him because I see it now, that we're being literally spat on. They take away the immigration system, but look at the situation in the U.S. We can easily have a fix here, but everything is political. We used to have a voice in the House, the U.S. House. Who took it away? It was the U.S. Republicans that took it away. And I don't mean to hurt my colleague here because he's been very supportive of me, but that's the fact. And whenever I speak, I always research where did it come from. But that's the truth. It's high time that we when the governor asked me, what do you think about this military? Kick them all out. Kick them out. When the late governor was alive, the Tinian lease was up for renewal. What did I say? Don't sign it. They will lose $550 million. Ask for at least $50 million from that, because they will lose more if you don't sign. But nobody listens. That's the problem also with us. We don't listen when we're given advice. So I tend to agree, and I I sign and I support this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Any further? All right, with nothing further, the motion has been made, it has been seconded, discussions have been happening, and with nothing further, I now recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Vada,
Yes.
Representative Aldan, Representative Aquino,
Resounding yes.
Representative Fato,
Yes.
Representative Benavente, Representative Angelo Komotsu, Representative Diego Komotsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komotsu,
Okay.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglotnia,
Yes.
Representative Ogo,
Yes.
Representative Omar,
Hongan.
Representative Palacios,
Yes.
Representative Rangamar,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Cindy Claus, Representative Yang Tamay,
Yes.
Representative Yumo, Representative Benavente, Representative Cindy Claus, Representative Yumo, Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 17 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With the 17 members present voting yes, House Joint Resolution 24-17 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of House Concurrent Resolution number 24-4, a House Concurrent Resolution to approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified under Article 3, Section 9A of the Constitution as amended and Title I, Division 7 of the Commonwealth Code for fiscal year 2027, beginning October 1st, 2026, and ending on September 30, 2027. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of House Concurrent Resolution 24-4, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vada,
Yes.
Representative Aldan, Representative Aquino,
Yes.
Representative Fato,
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komotsu, Representative Diego Komotsu,
Yes.
Representative Joel Komotsu,
Okay.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglotnia,
Yes.
Representative Ogo,
Yes.
Representative Omar, Representative Palacios,
Hongan.
Representative Rangamar,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Yang Tamay,
Hungan.
Mr. Speaker,
I would.
Mr. Speaker, all 17 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 17 members present voting yes, House Concurrent Resolution 24-4 is hereby adopted. And that's all under resolution calendar. We'll now proceed to item number 16, bill calendar, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before offering the motion for passage on first and final reading, I move to suspend Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. I'd like to just call for a quick recess. Quick recess. Before we went on recess, the floor leader did offer a motion to suspend, for first and final reading, to suspend Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready. All right. All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I now move for the passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-81 to establish a nonprofit organization tax credit to incentivize individual and corporate contributions, promote philanthropic engagement, and ensure the long-term viability of organizations that provide essential services and enhance the quality of life for the people of the CNMI. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-81, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I wanted to state for the record my strong support of the passage of the motion to pass House Bill number 24-81. But before that, I wanted also to state for the record that your standing committee, Mr. Speaker, on Committee on Ways and Means, through my office as the chair of the committee, have received communication in support from the Mafnas Outrigger Club. We also got written support, and we earlier heard testimony from the Commonwealth Cancer Association by Ms. Jocelyn De Leon Guerrero. We also did, Mr. Speaker, receive communication from Mrs. Angela Figueroa, who is also a member of the Board of Directors of Commonwealth Cancer Association and is an oncology nurse manager in CHCC. We did also have a written comments, and we also heard from Attorney Robert Torres on public comments. And lastly, we did receive comments from the Department of Commerce Secretary Remedio C. Mafnas. And with this support, Mr. Speaker, I appeal to the full body that we pass House Bill number 24-81. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. Any further? Recognize Representative Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's always a pleasure to speak after my colleague, Chairman John Paul, from the beautiful village of Precinct 2, or the villages of Precinct 2. I just want to say that I'm also in support of this bill, and hopefully that we ease the requests from the delegation so that more money can come to the members. As you know, we've been speaking about the issues with Texas Road, and maybe if we get more money, we can personally fix it ourselves, since I was informed that Texas Road is the last priority on the list from parks or roads and grounds. So if given the money, Chairman and I would take care of it ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Any further? Recognize Representative Manglonia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'd also to support the intent of this bill. However, I just wanted a little bit of clarification, maybe from legal, that this only applies to income tax credits and not to business gross revenue taxes.
I don't think that there's anything in there that applies to BGRT.
So speaking to the author the other day, and this is just, I'm just throwing this out there. Obviously, I know we need everyone's support on it, but if the body could consider amending it to include the BGRTs. I know it's already on calendar, but this is just something that I thought I'd throw out there just because it provides more flexibility to the business community, but I'm okay for it to pass as is as well. But that is just my humble opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Representative Manglonia. Representative Joe Flores.
Yeah, thank you. Going back regarding your BG, basically this one is just designed for the nonprofit, the business to, that's why we put out the amount of 50% or 2,000 from 2,005 to 5,000. So it's the business, what it wants to do for him to contribute is the amount that for them to decide what amount to give to the nonprofit. It's not regarding BGR or tax. It's just for them. You approach them as there's a nonprofit that you donate for this company, or the nonprofit, they're the one decide how much they're going to give. With the excess, the minimum of 2,005, maximum of 5,000. So this is the bill basically. That's how this one was written. So it won't be any confusion as of BGRT, income tax. It's just the company itself. I want to give you 3,000 today, and then next year give you 5,000. That's its maximum. That's what it's designed. So it make it, in other words, making it simple for the businesses to give out for the nonprofit organization, rather than going through the strain of the taxes, BGR and income taxes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. May I continue, Mr. Speaker? Okay. Before we'll, Mr. Speaker, answering the colleague. This is a question regarding the BGR. Before we go into this bill, I would like to thank the floor leader actually after long debate on our committee of Ways and Means regarding this House Bill 2481. I'd like to thank her for finally realizing how essential this legislation for our community and for our nonprofit. It's a legislation designed to empower both individuals and businesses to contribute generously to qualified nonprofit, thereby significantly enhancing their capacity to address diversity community needs. So in this case, it would be beneficiary for the nonprofit to go out now to businesses and ask for donation for something for them to go off island for whether baseball, soccer, or any activity that involves our children or even adults. So, in other words, I would indulge colleagues to fully support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Flores. Any further? Ready? All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Ada?
Yes.
Representative Aldon? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Ato?
Yes.
Representative Benavente?
Good.
Representative Angelo Camacho? Representative Diego Camacho?
Yes.
Representative Joel Camacho?
Good.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Risa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Maglonia?
Yes.
Representative Ogo?
Yes.
Representative Omar?
Hungan.
Representative Palacios?
Hungan.
Representative Rangamar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Hungan.
Representative Yangtamay?
HoR.
Representative Yumo? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, House Bill 24-81 hereby passes the House. Thank you. Floor Leader? Need a recess?
Yes.
Okay, quick recess. Went on recess. We were still under bill calendar, and the floor leader had the floor, so I'd like to recognize the floor leader again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I apologize, colleagues, for that short recess. At this time, I'd like to move to reject House Bill number 24107 HD1 SD1 and to move this legislation into conferee. Mr. Speaker, so move.
Sorry. Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader to reject House Bill 24107 HD1 SD1 and to move into conference, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Recognize Representative Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think when we discussed this the last time, it was regarding also the security deposits, correct? So I would also like to include that the business security deposits remain untouched because it doesn't distinguish between big businesses versus the small businesses. And there are a lot of small businesses in the CNMI that either have been destroyed or demolished by the typhoons and have been put, on serious jeopardy. So I would like to also have that included in the language that their security deposits remain untouched.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that, Representative Aquino. I'm sure those discussions will happen in the conference committee. Any further discussions? Recognize Representative Audon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to make sure that everybody's aware, okay, that because of this security deposit issue that they put into this legislation, I think I forwarded to the leadership when I asked that they give us the, bank account statement, not CUC generated statement, the actual bank account statement with regards to the security deposit. Come to find out that there's only one bank account with a security deposit. It wasn't separated. There's no business, there's no government, and there's no separate for for residential. So with that being said, tell me exactly again, like how is this one bank account that has all the security deposit in it, okay, is to be distributed and to actually account for how much of it is residential, how much of it is commercial, and how much of it is government. How do you distinguish that? You can't. The only way you can is to go way back, way back to when they first initiated the security deposit into law. Okay? And remember that if you go way back, which is over 10 years ago, it's going to be an accounting nightmare to try to figure out whose security deposit is what is still active, what is not. And then at the same time, each security deposit is different. Different security deposit depending on how much power you're going to bring in. Commercial, they pay a lot, right? Residential, back then it was like fluctuating between 25 to 85 to 100. It's crazy. The law says 25, or what is it? The CNMI law says that CUC can only charge 1 month security deposit, which is, I think, is like $25 or some shit. Something like that. Okay, but under CUC's regulation, it charges people 3 times more than that. So is CUC is its own, does CUC make its own laws that, it just takes whatever the legislature says and like, yeah, we're just going to put that to the side and we're going to do whatever the hell we want. So when we're talking about the security deposit, yes, I agree 100% with our colleague, Rep. Aquino, that, if you run your business out of your home, right, because you're not like big businesses that have a warehouse or anything like that, okay, you run it out of your own home. Is that a residential security deposit or is that a commercial security deposit? And how do we know that? And how much exactly interest has each account earned? So it boggles the mind that I think CUC are talking to a bunch of idiots in the legislature where they think that nobody's going to ask the question. So my office did receive this security deposit bank statement, and according to what they gave us, there's only one security deposit account. That gives me the conclusion that if there's only one bank statement that it says security deposit, all security deposit is in that account. So if CUC is trying to find a way to dodge this bullet or to try to kick this grenade that I'm throwing in their way, no, to try to hide, and they're going to say that, oh, there's only one security deposit bank account, so that means that they're actually going to try to secure all security deposit because there's no way to distinguish it. And I asked, so I just submitted a letter to them again. We, the legislature, because I made it official, that I want to know all government agencies, and all the branches, who owes, and how much do they owe, and do they still have a security deposit? How many businesses, are still in operation, right, that have arrears, and why are they still, receiving services? And this is a profit-generating business. And if they are still in service, why are they still having security deposit? So this whole security deposit debacle, is you want to put it up for collateral, but yet you cannot distinguish between commercial, government, or residential, because it's all in one account. Technically, you just can't put any of that in there. Because there is no way you're going to convince me that the government, still has security deposit in their account. I could care less if you're like, I don't know, Division of Energy, and then you got, Community and Cultural Affairs. To me, that's all government. That's all the executive branch. And it's the responsibility of the executive branch to ensure that everybody is in that one account. And it's an executive branch security deposit. And if there is money in that executive security deposit branch account, then why do you still owe, over $15 million? But then again, we don't know exactly what is the security deposit. So I'm still waiting for their response on that. So, yeah, I don't think there's any security deposit for the government. And the businesses that are still receiving service that are in arrears, I want to know, do they still actually have security deposit? Because the businesses alone owes, $10 million? So before we entertain this 107 again, I think the senators might do their due diligence, that before you start talking about security deposit, you better get the numbers. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't make any sense. And no, I reject any in-house CUC report. I want an actual report from somebody that actually does the job. Because I can go in there and forge any kind of numbers, and you guys got $10 million. I want to see the bank account that says you got that $10 million. I could care less what comes out of your mouth and what comes out of your office. What I want to see is a legitimate bank statement that says you do have $10 million. That's all I got to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Aldan. Any further discussions? Yeah, clerk, please edit that out. No? Thank you. With nothing further, clerk, again, the motion is to reject and go into conference committee. And with no further discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Adat?
Yes.
Representative Aldan? Yes. Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Attal?
Yes.
Representative Benavente?
Good.
Representative Angelo Camacho? Representative Diego Camacho?
Yes.
Representative Joel Camacho?
Ungan.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Manglonia?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Omar?
Ungan.
Representative Palacios?
Ungan.
Representative Rangamar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Hungan.
Representative Yanktamay?
Awar.
Representative Yumo?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, the motion carries. For the conference committee, I'd like to appoint for the chair, Representative Ralph Yumo, members John Paul Sablan, Vincent S. Aldan, with the alternate being the floor leader. Okay, with nothing further, under bill calendar, we now go down to item number 17, miscellaneous business, and the floor is open. Leader Roy Adet.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to state for the record, because earlier there was a comment made about the Republicans supporting, the shutting down, our voice or not getting our voices heard and everything like that. I just want to make it clear to this body and to the people that I, as the Republican elected official here in this office, that I do not support, those kind of efforts to shut our, voices here or minimize our voices here. As a matter of fact, I strongly feel that we need to fight more with the things that we deserve based on our covenant agreement. So with that, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader Adda. I recognize Representative Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to just apologize to my brother here to my left, but it is on record in the U.S. House of Representatives that there was a vote to exclude the territories to participate in the committee as a whole, and that unfortunately came from the party that I decided to affiliate myself with when I was 17. I already knew what I wanted to be, and it just hurt me when I read that it came out of the U.S. House Republicans that limited our voice. But the whole point was that even with our U.S. immigration system that was taken, our immigration control that was taken away, is that we basically are treated like second-class citizens. That's the point. Whether it's Republican, Democrat, no one listens to us. These 902 talks, that's just a bunch of BS. It's a formal thing, but does anything ever come out in our favor? No. We lost the immigration, we lost the government, we lost tourism, military's here, they're coming in. This morning or last night, I saw the representative from Guam, Mr. Randy Sablan. He came in this morning. Governor asked, did Randy come in? I go, yeah. He goes, oh, wow, they didn't come and see me. I said, well, you need to check your CBMA guy. You know why they're here. But the point is that they come and choose which territory they're going to dictate stuff over. That's my point, that we need to have a more powerful voice, a more unified voice in this island. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Floor leader.
Thank you, and I know we see Rep. Aldan raising his hand. I'll keep this short. Resource colonialism. It's two words that one of our legal mentioned to me yesterday. And this is the beauty of language and interpretation. And when we are guided by our covenant, it was very clear what we wanted, and that negotiations should happen. But when people are making decisions for the people that affect the Marianas, you have to think about what Rep. Aquino said, third-class citizens. But nowadays, they define it as resource colonialism. And what that means is it's the practice where powerful nations or corporations enter marginalized regions or indigenous lands to extract natural wealth, such as minerals, oils, or timber, leaving local populations with severe environmental damage, economic inequality, and little to no financial benefit. And that is exactly what is happening. And where are we at the table? If we are going to oblige by the rules of Big Brother, it's only fair that because of the covenant, that the leaders of Big Brother, the federal government, Department of Insular Affairs, all these people making these decisions about us should be involving us. We have a committee chairman for federal and foreign affairs. It's not hard for anybody in the United States government to call his office and find out what's going on with issues pertaining to the relationship in sections of our covenant. Because what they did in 2008 totally restricted us from self-sufficiency and economic sovereignty. Period. That's what it was called back then. But now, just so that everybody knows what it is defined as, what's the definition now, and what they're using it as, what they're claiming it to be, or what I see it to be, is resource colonialism at the end of the day. And that is exactly how we are being treated. And that is exactly what is being defined. That's how they define us. A weak, marginalized Commonwealth, Marianas. Desperate, but not conforming because we have a covenant. We can conform a little bit, but not so much because of the covenant. Well, I think the covenant needs to be revisited. I feel that we need to also push that the legislation that sits in FFA putting the Senate President and the Speaker of the House as members of the 902 discussions moving forward, and not just handpick individuals who are friends and family of whoever that don't understand what is happening on the legislative side. So I respectfully ask our chairman of FFA if he would consider passing that legislation. I think it would help. We don't know what the fate of that will be in the Senate, but surely it says a clear message that we refuse to be stepped on. All we're asking is a fair chance on the table to express how we feel as a Marianas in respect and in our marriage to and with the covenant and our relationship with the United States. Thank you. I yield my time, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Representative Aldan, did you have your hand raised?
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Now, I just want to make this clear to the public, right, that House Bill 24-107, the emergency funding request from CUC for the $40 million, I am not against trying to get CUC through, emergency situation. Okay, I am not against that. And I'm pretty sure that none of us are against supporting legislation that, would answer CUC's request for emergency funding. Okay? But this is my problem, and I'm pretty sure that anybody in their right mind would ask a simple question. What are you going to use the $40 million for? Okay? I want to see invoices. I want to see receipts. And is this $40 million going to improve CUC? I would not believe that anybody in their right mind would not ask for that kind of, document. if Rhoda needs $10 million to get out of the situation that it's in right now, I'm all for it. But so long as the invoices are there, to purchase telephone pole, transformers, power lines, whatever. Okay, and along with Tinian, you need $10 million, great. Saipan, you need $40 million because the infrastructure is bigger, so be it. But we want receipts. We want invoices. We want to know, was this thing bidded out or was this thing sole sourced? Did we have like a compire deal that went on here for millions of dollars? Did we purchase, telephone pole that was manufactured in Guam for $7,000, or did we just go to North Korea and bought it for $12,000? I don't know. We're not saying that, CUC doesn't deserve the $40 million to, solve this emergency issue with the super typhoon. All we're asking for is documents. Show us that these monies is being spent to pay for these items that has been destroyed by the typhoon. It's only reasonable. Because at the end of the day, it's not just Rhoda is going to pay for the $10 million or, Tinian will pay for the $10 million and Saipan will pay for the $20 million. No. All of us would pay for this $40 million for the next, 7 to 10 years. This $40 million is going to go away just like that. It'll be gone in like 3 to 6 months maybe less. Okay? But is it going to the return on investment? Because it's not only going to be $40 million. It's going to be $40 million plus interest. So if CUC is asking for $40 million, I'm pretty sure that everybody would agree, okay, to fix whatever emergency issue. But what return on investment would it have? Okay, because I sure as hell do not want to be paying $40 million, plus interest, and it actually didn't solve anything. Okay, so I am all for giving money to CUC or approving CUC to get a loan, so long as the return on investment is worth it. That's all I'm saying about that. Now, the other topic is this, deep sea mining. The deep sea mining in the guise of national and economic, security. Okay, so let's go back, like 70 years when they said the same thing to our brothers and sisters down in the South when they were doing all of that nuclear testing. It's because of its national security. And what happened to our brothers and sisters down there? To this day, they're still suffering. To this day, they cannot even go back to their own island. And right now, there's a, engineering report that the radioactive dome is cracking. And when it cracks, what happens then? So in the name of national security and economic security, okay, but what about our security? Are we going to suffer these consequences? Because nobody really knows what's going to happen. Once you start disturbing the seabed, those people that actually will be making millions of dollars, you think for 1 minute that they care about the people in the CNMI? When they're raking in, the most likely trillions of dollars in profit. Those corporations in cahoots with Washington, D.C.'s politician, you think they give a hoot about any of us here? No, they don't. They talk a good game. But when you start polluting and poisoning our food source, our environment, while you're laughing yourself to the bank, they don't care about the resident of the CNMI. They talk a good game, but they don't care. And like our colleague said, my colleague, Rep. Aquino said, and I love Uncle Dan for this, know how they play their game, and you better pay attention with the words that they use, because they'll give you some very, pixel dust words, make it sound all good and nice, but once it's down on paper, it doesn't really mean a thing. They always say they would, they didn't. You know how much money the United States government owed the people of the Marshall Islands? Millions, billions. You know how much they paid out? A fraction. So you're telling me that generations of people that have been suffering that only got paid fraction of what they're owed? You took away their livelihood. You took away their home. You took away everything from them. You relocated them to the United States and they don't even want to be there. Now they're getting treated like third-class citizens in the U.S. They cannot even vote. They're stuck in the, I'll give you $1,000 every month. But then that's it. The government in the United States don't care much about us. They use us in their political pawn game. And these billion-dollar corporations that are going to be making trillions of dollars in these mineral rights, you think they care? No, they don't. All they care about is their stockholders. And I guarantee you, none of us are stockholders. But we're the ones that's going to be holding that bag of, yeah. So, but understand this, the people does have power if they're willing to fight. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. In the late 90s, or I think it was early 2000, Puerto Rico, Vieques Island, live bombing. One individual got killed. One. Guess what the people of Puerto Rico did? They shut down the base. They all protested. Live bombing range got shut down. Next thing you know that followed, Roosevelt Road military base got shut down. Why? Because the people didn't want it anymore. Can we do the same? Yes, we can. Can we demand? Yes, we can. Can we fight? Yes, we can. But before we do any of that, let's open up the books and let's start reading and educating ourselves. Because I'm pretty sure nobody here wants to get shortchanged. And I sure as hell damn know that I do not want my children or your children to be shortchanged for that matter. These people in the mainland with their $1 million backers, okay, don't care. They don't care. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Aldan. Representative Atta? Oh, okay. Representative Manglonia?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I just wanted to thank Acting Executive Director Richard Villagomez for his presence here and for the communication regarding House Bill 24-107, House Draft 1, Senate Draft 1, regarding the dividends that CUC pays to CETA. I know, like all of us here, and just like Representative Adnan mentioned, we're not against helping CUC get the emergency funding that they need, but this funding that is paid to CETA is vital, not just to CETA, but to the Commonwealth's livelihood. It's not a whole lot of money, but they have been making strides, and I also want to commend Executive Director Sasamoto. Speaking to him personally, they're passionate about the things that they're doing. They're making strides in trying to secure investors here. We do have a favorable climate for companies to come and do business here, but we also need to work with them as a government, as a legislature, and as a whole to ensure that we do create a climate that is conducive and supportive of big business and small business as well. So I just want to thank them for their efforts and all the strides that they're making. I know that there's been a few breakthroughs, and hopefully we can, see the fruits of their labor soon. But I just wanted to take my time to acknowledge them and thank them for all the hard work that they're doing there. And as well as TUC, their management and their work, the hardworking staff there. I know that they're trying their best to get us back on track, and it's tough right now. But again, if we want to fix all these issues that we're having financially, we need to invest in our economy. We need to invest in the private sector too, and we need to grow that so that way the burden, as far as job creation, is taken off our central government. And then also, I know that there's been some concerns within our precinct regarding, bus stop issues. And I know that I'm working with my good colleague here, Representative Angelo Camacho, to address those issues. So please, to the community out there, please just give us a little bit of time. We are working. We are aware of the issues that are out there, and we're trying our best to address them as soon as we can. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Manglonia. Representative Julie.
Thank you, Speaker. I don't normally speak in miscellaneous agenda, but just this morning I woke up, and then been getting bombarded with ratepayers from Rhoda. There's about maybe 20 plus that residents have been energized, but a few of those that received their billing, are shocked to find out that on average $500 a month billing, they receive a billing of $2,000. How is that possible when they didn't have power for a couple months? We really need to look into this, billing situation. I don't know if any of, the representatives here that are getting that same concern from their constituents. But, it's heartbreaking when your power just got restored after so many, maybe months, and then you receive a billing that you need to pay $2,000 and you're going to be disconnected tomorrow. It just doesn't make sense at all, So, I'm in support of any financial assistance that the COC is seeking, but as long, just like what Representative Aldon said, we need to make sure that those expenses are accounted for, and it goes to where it's supposed to be. Then tend to restore our power, and it's devastating to hear this, especially with the austerity. People are still waiting for their DNAPs, and then again this situation with CUC. It's heartbreaking, and we really need to, aggressively look into this and address it. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Representative Julie. Any further under miscellaneous? Floor leader.
Real short, and Rep. Julie, I can't not be affected by what you had mentioned, because I've got people in my precinct 3, last month, or during the time of no power, they were averaging and paying $200-300 maybe. That's still high for a retiree living off a very fixed income, only to receive the bill, and now it's $3,000 during a period of no power. So at some point, I'm going to ask that the delegation of Rhode Antinian, the next time you meet, please bring that up to the delegation, because the Fair Billing Act that this House passed is still stuck in the Senate. So we can also seek your indulgence and support, Rep. Ogle, to have gain support with the Senate so that they can push that out, because that would really help not just Rhoda, but even the people. And also, I think, I know Rep. Colbray is very, very passionate, or Rep. Aldon is very passionate about CUC. I'm going to ask Rep. Colbray, or Rep. Aldon, if you can consider a request And I know that you're very busy doing projects with the school that was affected by the typhoon, and you're rebuilding that as well. But I'm hoping that you can consider bringing CUC and officially conducting an oversight at some point, because we can't keep having these discussions back and forth, and you need to put them at some point on oath already. And there has to be a transmittal filed within the clerk of all your efforts and all your findings. It's important, because if we don't put that and file that and collect the data and ask your questions and bring in the people who are managing the utility and have these oral testimonies documented, it's going to be hard for the next one to pick up, because none of it is in your committee with factual background and testimony and history. And it's important. You have the most controversial committee right now, and you've got a lot of people backing you up. A lot. I cannot deny that. But I'm asking respectfully if you could consider, at this point, maybe after budget and all of this other stuff is done, bring them in. And if we need to subpoena, then we subpoena. But that has to be established by your committee. So I know that, again, you're very busy. Just a thought to ponder. I'm not saying do it. What I'm asking is ponder the thought, let it marinate a couple weeks. And if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. But we also have to put it on record, right? So thank you, Rep. Aldan, for your passion and really just continuing to move every day to try to fix this issue with the utilities that greatly affects the people of the Marianas. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Any further under miscellaneous? Ready? All right, we'll move down to item number 18, announcements. Any announcements? Representative Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to, the chairman and I, Chairman John Paul and myself, we want to apologize to the people of Precinct 2, the beautiful, very beautiful people of Precinct 2, that the Liberation Day parade will be, I guess, postponed or canceled. And we've been hard at work, busy working on our float to have our first Precinct 2 float. And it just breaks my heart that it was canceled. I thought the mayor said it was going to be rain or shine. And I also want to invite my colleagues, since it's payday, to go down to Auntie Terry Bolus. It's Barbecue Thursday. They have really good food there. And then the CK Smokehouse, they got good adobo. Let me tell you, there's good adobo there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield.
So not only is Precinct 2 beautiful, it's delicious now. All right, Rep. Julie.
You're following through. We've wrote us a delicious slogan. Thank you, Speaker. I just want to make a public announcement. The Survivor Recovery Center in Rhoda is now open at the Youth Centers in Apollo from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., closed on Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. Please do come prepared with the following documents: valid ID, photos of damages, proof of residency, address with zip code, social security number. For any questions, you can call the mayor's office at 670-532-9451. My office is also available to assist in, individuals with their intake. They can call my office at 670-532-4636. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Ogo. Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to announce to the viewing public, to remind also the members of the Committee on Ways and Means that we do have a Ways and Means Committee with at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning with the Civil Service Commissioners and OPM, and at 1:30 with our NMC College to discuss the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further under announcements? Ready? All right, we'll now move down to the next item of the agenda, and that's adjournment, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move to adjourn, subject to the call of the chair.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for adjournment and has been seconded. Any discussions?
Ready.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This session's hereby adjourned. Thank you, colleagues.